So what we did, we passed a law that said all children under 18 years of age must be off the streets after a certain time at night. As a result of that, our children have not been shot, they have not been killed during the curfew hours in the last almost 3 years. And we must give God all the praise and the glory for such a victory.
And there are a lot of people around the world, I must admit to you, that are very proud of you.
Well, yes, there are many, many cities. Well, first of all, when the curfew idea first kind of developed in the United States, it was shot down in the court system. They found it unconstitutional. They talked about the rights of the child, this, that, and the other. But when Dallas passed the curfew law, it went all the way to the Supreme Court. And the Dallas curfew sort of became the godfather of all cities to write new law. So our curfew law was sort of patterned behind Dallas and Fort Pierce, Florida. But many cities since that time have gone back and rewritten their law, and they have very good, strong curfews because they understand that statistically, curfews will cut juvenile crime down more than 50 to 60%. And certainly that's what's happened here in Riviera Beach. Well, you know, I didn't need the law in order to understand that principle because I understand that an idle mind is the devil's workshop, and especially at nighttime. We understand that. Our parents brought us up that way. Boy, you're going to be home. When the sun goes down, you're going to be home. And we were home, we weren't in trouble, and we weren't creating trouble because we were with our parents or our older brothers and our older sisters. And, you know, I thank God for, I want to go back to my family again because, you know, we are what our family is. I want to thank God for my mom, Dr. Isabel Masters, who lives with me now, 98 years of age, had a major stroke, she can't walk or talk. But my mother taught us values about family. I had 4 strong sisters. There's 2 of them here. This is Cora Masters Berry. It's my sister who lives in Washington, D.C. And as you know, she's the former First Lady there in the city, there in Washington, D.C., Cora Masters Berry. And my other sister over here, you may take a shot of that if you can see it, that's Alfreda. You know, they looked out for their younger ones. I was the youngest brother. I was the youngest child. So they looked out for us. They took care of us. When mother was not at home, they made sure that Tommy was there. And, you know, and that's what we have to do. You know, I said on the radio today, the old saying was, it takes a village to raise a child. But, you know, I have some problems with that because I don't want everybody in the village raising our children. It takes the right people in the village. And thank God that I had sisters and an older brother that was concerned about their younger brother. And we have to be concerned about our children. To go out the streets and ask the people that. But if I had to answer that, I would just say people wanted someone that they knew. They wanted someone that they had a track record of advocacy that cared about them. They wanted somebody they could trust in the seat, that would not get in the seat and forget about how they got there. They wanted someone that related to the masses of people. So they chose me to be that spokesperson, to be that advocate. So the only difference now is what we have done is just move from advocacy to policy. Where before, as an advocate, we were doing the marching and being the voice and being there and saying, you know, we have to do that. But now I can just pick up the phone or the stroke of a pen and make that advocacy policy that will affect the policies here in the city of Riviera Beach. Policies that will be people friendly. Policies that will protect our children. Policies that would be so compassionate. And so my faith, you know, we talk about separation of church and state. I understand the principle, but it doesn't mean that you have to hide your faith, because it's my faith in God and my faith in treating my brother and my sister as I would like to be treated. I think it makes me the type of a leader that I need to be, and everyone needs to be. Because when you have principles, values, morals, and ethics, I think you can be a leader that the people can appreciate. They know that you're not going to cheat, lie, and steal, because that's not your faith. I think open doors policy is the best. Once again, I'm here because of the people. I never want my position to change who I am. I want to change the position and make the position, not let the position change the man, but let the position be the kind of position that people can feel comfortable and come in and talk to the mayor. Mayor, I need a job. Mayor, I need help. Mayor, I just need to talk to somebody. Mayor, I have a problem with the police, or I have a problem with public works, or a mayor, whatever the situation may be. That's the kind of mayor that I want to be. And so I want to make people to feel comfortable. Now the job fair, let me just say this before I comment on the job fair. One of the things, and going back to children, is that what we tried to do in Riviera Beach is to change the mindset of our children, about the village again. We said to our young boys and sometimes the young girls, pull your pants up, pull your grades up, respect yourself. And when you do that, you know, you can get a job. You can't go on a job with your pants half down, talking any kind of way. It just ain't gonna work. Breaking a few rules of grammar, it just ain't gonna work. So one of the things that we're doing in the job fairs is that as a part of the job fair, we have what is called a job workshop for about an hour and a half. We talk about dress. We talk about how important it is and how people judge you many times based on what you wear. And what you wear sends a strong message sometimes to some employers as to who you really might be. Okay? So we talk about dress. We talk about the resume, the application, how to present yourself on interview, how to get the job and how to keep the job. We talk about the 90-day probation. And what we try to do is move around in the community, various areas of the community, have 4 or 5 different employers every week, and we take some of the same ones that we had from the prior week as well, and we say, okay, we're going to bring the jobs to you. Now, we understand that everybody goes to a job fair is not going to get hired. You know, you got to continue to go. You got to continue to make sure your resume is up to speed. You got to dress the part. Do what you got to do. But at least what we're trying to do is to bring the potential employees presented in front of the employers. So we want to kind of bring them together, you know, and I try to be the glue that kind of keep them together and stay up with our young people. So we call 300 or 400 young people and 300 or 400 adults every week and say the job fair is going to be in Parson Heights or Federal Gardens or Monroe Heights. It's going to be at some church or some community building or something. And sometimes we've even gone into the park because I think it's important, once again, that we must take it to the people. It's all about people. And my top priority as mayor of the city of Riviera Beach is to put people back to work. As many as possible. And it doesn't really have to be people from Riviera Beach. Because if someone gets hired from West Palm Beach, it's good for us as well. We benefit because we consider West Palm Beach our first cousins, okay?